Hello and welcome to Sport This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
It's great to have you join us again. I'm Taya Salam.
Here we get started with the show now. Where there's something really wrong with the Super Eagles team right now. Not really with the whole team, but just one player who has turned down the color because he says he wants to focus on his club career. I'm talking about Tyrone Ebui.
Interesting, Cecilia. But that's how it goes.
Okay, and also on the program, Djokovic is ready for Paris Masters. He knows what he needs to do in the Paris Masters. Just win it or get to the final. If he doesn't do that, Andy Murray would definitely become world number one. That's if Andy Murray gets to win the Paris Masters.
I mean, this guy is under pressure. He knows it. But one thing we know about Djokovic is he knows how to handle, any kind of pressure. So I won't be surprised if he actually, goes all the way to the final later this week. Also on the show, Cecilia, the Champions League is back, and once again, it is another Barcelona order for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. I remember a couple of weeks ago, the Mets, and it was 4-0 to Barcelona. Actually, they won that one very convincingly. But Man City have the opportunity now to pay them back, back in England. Let's see what goes down tonight. But Cecilia, for me, it looks like it's going to be another very exciting game.
Obviously, that's how it's going to be for Manchester City. And of course, for Pep Guardiola, who doesn't really know the tactics he's going to deploy or rather employ to beat his former team, Barcelona, that they said they've actually evolved over time.
Do you really believe that, though, Cecilia? Like, come on. Pep Guardiola, we kind of person he is, surely knows he has a game plan in his mind already. And we'll find out tonight.
We'll find out, definitely.
He's playing mind games. But before go, talk about Champions League. That's going to be later on the show. We have to do a bit of the NBA.
Just last night.
Just 4 games played. Usually you have about 10 games per night, but just the 4 games, are played in the NBA overnight. And we'll run through a few of the results, a couple of the results. The Chicago Bulls are still doing really well. They beat the Brooklyn Nets 118-88 in that particular matchup. It was a very convincing win for the Bulls, and they are 3-0. This season they've won all 3 games played, and they're not missing Derrick Rose at all. Derrick Rose, got traded to the New York Knicks in the offseason, but they've moved on just fine.
Yeah, I thought they were actually going to struggle because when you have a key player like that leaving a team, you discover that somehow there's a vacuum left, but they're not actually feeling it. So 3 games in a row. Exactly,
especially when you bring a veteran like Dwayne Wade, into the club. Also, still on the NBA, you have the Denver Nuggets. They lost against the Toronto Raptors 102-105 in that one. Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan combined for 62 points. Those 2 guys will be very key if Toronto had to go deep in the playoffs. I'm assuming they'll make the playoffs, obviously. Sacramento Kings, they lost 95-106 against the Atlanta Hawks, and in the last game played, Phoenix Suns lost 98-116 to the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers, doing really well. They make the playoffs last year compared to the Lakers. The Lakers not doing really well at all. Horrible season they had last year. I think that was one of the worst in franchise history. We'll see how it pans out for them eventually. But as it is right now, the Clippers surely have the bragging rights.
That's the way it is. And the Clippers, I'm sure they're going to stay with that. And Lakers also, this season they've started so well. Hopefully they can just continue like that because that's what is important.
Yeah, when you say start so well, they won the first game. They've lost the next 2. For me, the Lakers... they have it all to do in terms of making the playoffs because the West is really, really stacked with talent. I mean, Oklahoma City Thunder, Houston Rockets, Portland Trail Blazers, OKC Thunder, the Warriors. Where do you put the Lakers in that mix? They're not there.
They're not there at all.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be another very, very long season for LA Lakers fans in the NBA.
Because I felt when they won their first game, maybe subsequently the second game, they can actually go ahead to win it. The third one, they can also win it. Because that winning start is important for you. Take a look at Golden State Warriors. Fine, they lost their first opening game. But the second one, at least they won by 6 points. It wasn't much, it wasn't a blowout as they started last season. But this season, they discovered that, okay, we don't have to, keep on with that losing streak. But Lakers now, well, let's see what's going to happen.
I mean, it's a rebuilding process for the Lakers. They have a long way to go. The players they have, they have the Ingram, still very young, just going to NBA, Nick Young. They really don't have the players or the players of that stature that they used to have back in the days, So it's a long rebuilding process for them, and the coach has a lot of work to do. That's Luke Walton.
Yeah, he has a lot to do, because when you have a Phil Jackson leaving a club, and most of the older players also retiring, they've all gone. So you have to rebuild and start all over again, and it's always very, very difficult. Okay, we'll move straight to the Paris Masters now. Novak Djokovic talking about the fact that, look, he's ready, he's prepared. Paris have always been more like a home to him. He has won there many times. So you won't blame him when he says it's like a home to him. But the thing is, returning to action, after missing, some events leading to this. Well, he says he wanted to just keep himself fit and be ready for Paris Masters. And also not just being ready, just looking at the fact that Andy Murray is lurking behind. Any little mishap or mistakes from him, the guy is going to overtake him.
Yeah, Cecilia, it is very clear. Okay, let's just do it this way. There are two scenarios, basically, for Andy Murray to be world #1 by the end of the week. If Andy Murray, reaches the final, actually, if he wins the Paris Masters and Djokovic fails to reach the final, Andy Murray will become world #1. The second scenario is Andy Murray, if he reaches the final and Djokovic fails to reach the semifinals, Murray will be world #1. So it's very clear now. It's in the hands, both of them. And with the antecedents of Djokovic at the Paris Masters, like I said, he's won 3 times the last 3 years. So 3 times defending champion. So he's going to go into this tournament with a lot of confidence, and he knows the surface very well. He loves it on the Paris, hard court. So surely he will be the favorite, but in terms of form,
he's
this
not
this guy right here is the man.
He's the man, and since winning the French Open, when he completed that career Grand Slam, he has won only 1 Masters, that's in Toronto. So since then, he hasn't really won titles. So it shows that. But right, they said he's going into Paris. He's confident. It's comfortable. You know what? We'll listen to him.
I've had an amazing 6 months of the year, and then the period after Roland Garros with some injuries and ups and downs and results was not easy, but I'm at the right spot at the moment. I'm of course always very pleased to come back to the city where when I've been in the city last time, I've had some incredible memories on and off the court. So gives me that extra push and extra motivation to do well this week. No, he's been playing some incredible tennis, maybe the best he has ever played on hard courts. Very consistent, very solid, and obviously the pursuit for #1 of the world is an extra motivation for him, and you can see the way he's been playing. So he's on a mission. On the other hand, it doesn't depend only on him. I'm taking things my way and the way I want them to be. I know that I need to be on the very high level in order to challenge him and all the other players here in Paris and in London. But the way I feel at the moment, gives me that confidence, gives me that comfortable state of mind, and I'm hoping I can have a good week.
Okay, you heard it from him, and take a look at the fact that he has been knocked out of. He was knocked out of Wimbledon in the 3rd round. Olympics just in the opening round. U.S. Open, the same thing. Since 2014, the first time he didn't get to the final of a Grand Slam. So it shows after that French Open, something actually went missing in Novak Djokovic.
Okay, you could say, when he won the French Open, that was when he completed his career Grand Slam, right? Yes. Okay, so you could say maybe just went off the boil a little bit, psychologically went off the boil. I've achieved that already and basically signed out for the rest of the year. I'm not saying that's what happened, but your point is very clear. His form has been very erratic. It's been very inconsistent, and that's why some pundits are actually tipping Murray to do it, just this time around. But like I said, Cecilia, this guy is a very confident lad. And he's very competitive as well. To see how confident he sounded in that particular interview. So, Cecilia, I'll stick with what I said earlier. If Murray is going to do it, it's going to be sometime next year. I'm not just going to change my mind now. I'm not.
Okay, we'll talk more on the Paris Masters. All the players made it to the 2nd round. Those who started from the very beginning, because the likes of Djokovic, Andy Murray, all of them got a bye. Dimitrov also, they all got a bye into the 2nd round. Fernando Verdasco, he's through to the 2nd round. Marcos Bagdat is also through to the 2nd round. But the thing is with these players is the fact that, look, For Verdasco, he didn't have to play much of the game because he was actually, leading 6-2, 3-2 against Robin Hans when Robin Hans retired, So it simply means he had to go ahead and face Andy Murray in the next round.
Yeah, I mean, that's it right there. If Verdasco, he's a veteran. He's been on tour for a long time, and, he faces Andy Murray. Andy Murray is very motivated now. In round 2, there should be only one winner in this one, Cecilia. I don't expect any kind of upset at all. So Andy Murray will go through to the next round. For Marcos Baghdatis, he had it very easy against Paul-Henri Mathieu as well. To straight set, 6-2, 6-4. He won that one and is through to the second round where he gets to meet Dimitri. Grigor Dimitri in that particular one. So you expect that one might be a bit tighter between Dimitrov and Baghdatis. But for Andy Murray, you expect him to go through against Robert Haas.
Okay.